Hello, my friends. So today I'm going to go over a basic setup for MyFitnessPal. So if you're new to MyFitnessPal, it's a great app to use to help with your daily tracking, especially if you've been given certain macros, or even if you just want to start getting a general idea of what you're eating on a daily basis and try to be more mindful about what you're consuming throughout the day. So MyFitnessPal is what I use. I think it's a really great tracker, and I wanted to do a quick little tutorial today on just the basic setup. So we'll just start as though we were new to MyFitnessPal. So of course you're going to download the app. So we'll open that up right now. And then it's going to take you to this screen. So of course you want to sign up since you're new. So I'm going to type in a different email address here. Type in my liverealfit address. And then of course you'll just make up a password here. And then hit sign up. So then here you can just kind of choose what's your goal. And for us, we'll say we want to lose weight. And then it'll ask you these different questions. And so you'll just answer these accordingly. We'll say we're very active, female, born. So you're going to type in all your different stats here. And kind of keep going through. It already knows how much I weigh and height and all that kind of stuff. And then if I wanted to, down here you can put in your goal weight. Okay, so if I wanted to, drop 10 pounds or whatever the case may be, you would put in your goal weight there. I'm just going to leave that 0 for right now. All right, so again, it'll kind of ask you about your pound, how many per week. And this isn't terribly critical for just the basic use of the app. It just makes you go through this for setup. So don't feel like you have to have all these questions answered, to a T or know exactly what you're talking about or doing. Just answer it best you can, but it's not going to affect your, use of the app or its effectiveness or anything like that. So then we'll kind of go through here. Username, sure. liverealfit, that sounds great. I'm going to unclick this because I don't want to receive any more emails from them. And then you hit the arrow and it's going to set me up. Yay, congratulations. All right, so it just kind of gives you some basic stats and breakdown, my net calorie goal. So it is giving me what it thinks my calories should be in order to meet the goals that I had set up. Now, if you're a client of mine or somebody's given you certain macros that you're going to be tracking, this step right here is not really all that important to you at all. If you haven't been given that information, it's okay, but I might seek out some more help if you're looking for specific calorie goals for your goals and for your height and your weight and all the different variables and factors that would need to be considered into that number. But for now we'll just say okay, continue, that's fine. But we're just going to skip this. So this is the home screen that you'll come to each time that you log in. Okay, so the best thing to do from here is to then go to more down there at the bottom with the 3 little dots, and then my profile. Okay, so here you can see that you can add a picture here if you wanted to. You can hit edit profile, and here's where I can do a file photo. I can edit any of this information here that we originally had put into the tutorial or the beginning part when it was walking us through the setup. So if I ever wanted to change any of that information, that's where I would do that. Okay, and then certainly I like to add a picture because you can also you can see here add friends. So you can search for different friends in your contacts. You can put your coach in there if you want. I always, with my clients, I like to make sure that we are friends here, so that if there's any questions as far as what you consume or anything like that, I can look in to see what you've been eating and try to help make some suggestions. So on that same note, another thing I like to make sure people do is come down here to friends. Okay. Oh, I'm sorry. I think it's settings. Yeah, so go down to settings, and then right here you see diary settings. Click on that, and then what you can see here is the different settings, and then look at diary sharing. It's the second one from the bottom. Click on that, and right now it's set to private. That's its default setting, which is totally fine. So if you're not looking to share your information with anybody, you can keep that private. It's perfectly fine. I ask for a lot of my clients to hit public, or friends only really is best, so that if we're friends on here and you've clicked friends only, that basically means that now I can view your diary, food diary, okay? And that's just really helpful for me, again, if you're hitting a sticking point or you have questions or just not really sure why things aren't matching up properly. I can actually look into your diary and again help offer some suggestions or things like that. So I always hit the check mark there, and that's one area that I always encourage people to do just to help me as far as the coaching process is concerned. Okay, so we're going to back all the way out of this here and hit goals. All right, so if you're not a premium member with MyFitnessPal, it's fine. But they kind of say that you can't really view your macros, but there's kind of a way around that. So if you want to go down here under nutrition goals, you can hit calorie and macronutrient goals. You click on that. So what's challenging with this here is that it only gives you the percentages. So if you look on the right hand side there, you can say it's allotting 50% for carbohydrates, 20% for protein, and 30% for fat. Now the only thing you can change here is the percentage. But if you notice to the left hand side, right next to the word, you see carbohydrates and it says 179 grams. Same thing for protein, same thing for fats. So if you know the breakdown of your macronutrients in grams, you can manipulate the percentages to get as close as you can to the specific grams that you're supposed to be hitting, okay? So for example, let's say here I wanted to change this. So, you can see at the top there, carbs 179, protein 71, fat 48, okay? So let's say I wanted to change the carbs to 162, okay? So I'm going to decrease the carbs percentage. Just decreasing it by 5% gets me around at 161. So I'm going to keep it there. Let's say I want to change the protein to about 145 grams of protein. Okay, so that means I'm going to have to increase this quite a bit here. All right. So that's close enough right there, okay? And then fats, let's say I wanted fats to be down around 42, okay? So I'm going to change this, so that's 40. That's close enough. Now, if you notice down here at the bottom, it's in red. It says 110%. So it doesn't really like the fact, obviously, that my percentages aren't adding up to 100%. So, okay, so let's just try to fudge this a little bit to try to get it a little bit closer. So I'm going to decrease that to 35, and I'm going to decrease that to 20. Okay, so now it's at 100%. Okay, no big deal. So let's go ahead and hit the check mark. Now, this is not a problem, even though this is what the numbers are telling me. My carbohydrates are 161, protein 125, and fats are 32. MyFitnessPal is not holding me to those numbers from the standpoint that as long as I know what my numbers are, I can input my food accordingly and just ignore basically what MyFitnessPal is telling me. And this will make a little bit more sense in the next tutorial when I go through actually, doing the daily input. But for now, just keep in mind that you just want to get those percentages as close as possible, just to give you a range, a reminder really of what your macros are supposed to be. Just get them sort of within a plus or minus 5 range if you can. And it really serves more as just a reminder for yourself as to what they're supposed to be. Not that MyFitnessPal is going to block you or prohibit you from putting in more or less than that. Hopefully that makes sense. So that's where you want to put in your macronutrients. There's some other fun things down here as far as if you want to put in workouts per week or minutes workout or exercise calories, things like that. You can also link this to, one of your devices like I think Apple Watch and Fitbit and different devices like that. As far as tracking exercise and things, you can link it with that, which is kind of fun as well. And again, you can just double check all the things here: starting weight, current weight, goal weight, weekly goal weight, activity level. Obviously, all of those are going to change and be, individualized to you, but that's just kind of what that looks like. So hopefully that helps you as far as, the setup is concerned. So the last thing here I think I want to touch on is how to change the number of meals that it lists or the names of the meals or things like that. So if you want to go down to settings here, then you'll see it says, which one here? Diary settings. So if you go to diary settings again, you want to go down to the very bottom now where it says customize meal names. So we click on that. Now right now it already breaks it down into 4 meals: breakfast, lunch, dinner, and snacks. Okay, so that may work for you and that's fine. For me, for example, I like to have one meal that's designated as a pre-workout meal and one meal that's designated as a post-workout meal. And then just the order of it for me, I like to have, because I do my workouts in the morning, for example. So the meal 1, I like to list as pre-workout. And then meal 2, I like to list as post-workout. Okay, because I have specific meals and targets that I want to hit for both pre and post workout. So I like to have an individual meal for each one of those, or individual item for each one of those meals. And then meal 3, because naturally because I work out in the morning, the next meal for me would sort of be lunch. Okay. Then after that, I do like to have a snack. Okay, some people might have a snack after dinner. I like to have a snack for me between lunch and dinner because I tend to eat a little bit of a later dinner after the kids go to bed. So for me, it works out better to have lunch and then a snack. And then you can actually add a 5th or even a 6th meal. So my 5th meal then is dinner. Okay, so for me, that's how the breakdown works out best. Okay, so there's nothing that says that, for example, on a non-workout day, I might not use both the pre and the post-workout categories, and that's fine. So I just know in my head, then I use the pre-workout category as my quote breakfast on a non-workout day. Okay, I leave the post-workout category blank. I don't put anything in there, and then I just follow along again: lunch, snacks, and then dinner. Okay, so these are just the names that you're putting as these meals. So it really is whatever kind of makes most sense to you in how you most often organize your days and as far as your meals consumption and things of that nature. So I just gave you an example on what works best for me, but that's an area where you can certainly customize it and kind of play around with it a little bit to see, what's going to work best for you and how often you eat and things like that. So I'm going to hit the check mark there. So that's all set. So that's kind of the basic setup today. So the next installment here of this video, I'm going to just go through just the daily tracking. So that's where you'll come over here to the diary category. You can see that I already have, because I just changed it, I already have pre-workout, post-workout, lunch, snack, and dinner. So in the next video, stay tuned. I'll just go through how I input all of that information, how that looks, how to check and see how that's meeting my macro goals, and just some different tips and tricks on how best to use this app to help function most effective and efficiently for you. Thanks, guys, and until next time, we'll see you then.